Hello, and welcome to you, my lovely Andrea. How are you doing?
I'm fine, splendiferously well. Thank you, Reggie.
Thank you for coming on my channel. I'm so excited. We have been talking a little bit backstage, I have to be honest, but I am super excited and we're going to be exploring so much. I can't wait to hear your wonderful tales about this as well as many other things.
Absolutely. I'm absolutely excited too. So thank you for asking me here. I mean, great. I'm really, really happy.
Lovely. Well, let's say hello to a few people. We've got some people popping in now. The message has just popped, so we're going to have lots of people joining us. So we're going to say hello to a few people because that's where people come here to say hello. Peter is listening. Hello, Peter. Very pleased. He's getting his garden ready for winter.
Oh, great.
Well, thank you for wishing us the best there. Maruta, hello, my lovely. It's good to see you here. Welcome, welcome. Vanessa says hello to us there. Hello, Vanessa, to you.
Hello.
Sorry, I should give you time to say hello, shouldn't I? I'm rude. I'm rushing through this. Let's take it a bit slower. White Wolf Mother, hello to you. Good evening to you. Thank you for joining us. Jackie's Crystal Moon is here. Good evening, everyone. And White Wolf Mother says, thank you, Andrea, for being here. And Richie, thank you for a great show.
No, thank you to everyone.
We haven't started yet, but thank you. Here's Gerald. Hello, my lovely Gerald. Just listening. Good to see you there. I hope you're doing very well. And as Jackie says, don't forget to like and subscribe. And make sure you're joining the links below because there's links to all the websites where you can pick up Oracle cards and, of course, the decks that we're talking about. So without any further ado, I'm going to say you are happy to have people ask questions. So if they want to put them into chat,
yes,
we'll do our best
we are here for discussing magic and tarot, and I think it's our passion, so why not?
Anything you like. So just pop it into capital letters so it stands out in chat. We'll flash it up. And
I always say caveat. I mean, pay attention because whatever you ask, you may have an answer. So pay attention to what you ask for. Because
yeah, be careful.
It's dangerous.
Well, let's get going. I'm going to ask the general question I always ask people is, how did you get into tarot? What age? What is it that made you get interested in it?
Oh, I get into tarot when I was a kid. My mother was a tarot reader. So, but in Italy at the time, I mean, centuries, such as the dinosaurs still roaming there. But anyway, it was almost a forbidden thing, something you don't talk about, something that is a secret. She was reading tarot without being paid for reading tarot. So I guess you don't ask for money because, I mean, there are lots of rules there. It's a different country, different era. Now maybe things are completely different. I hope so. So I remember her using tarot to tell amazing stories. But when I tell stories, not think about fictional stories or something silly, amazing reading. But for me, the readings that I assisted to, because I was allowed to just assist a few at the beginning, were amazing story. Seeing this strange card opening on the table and telling something absolutely magical, it was incredible. I remember a period of time when she was doing tarot, reading tarot at night alone in the kitchen, on the kitchen table, and with just a candlelight there. And me, my brother is younger, spying on the people and try to understand what kind of magic was happening there. Then she used the tarot to trick her too, like she was spreading the card on the table, and then she would say, "Oh, I see from the cards it's time to go to bed." Well, no, it was amazing. My mother was a witch, a real witch. I mean, a real sensitive person. But she had a very twisted sense of humor and was very, very creative. And so she spread magic all around. For the Day of the Dead, she used to, before going to bed, to leave on the table of the kitchen, everything happened in the kitchen in Italy, a bowl of milk and some boiled chestnut. Because at the dead of the family, above all my grandmother, you will come to eat and drink the food of the living. Yeah. And we were waiting. I remember, spy from this at the door ajar, spy waiting for the ghost of the grandma enter. And my mother used to do the tour because if you spy, they will never come. So it was absolutely amazing. So we believed
Oh,
in the morning everything was eaten and drinking. Of course, it was my mother who was putting everything in order. It was, but for a long time we believed in. And I think maybe my grandma was really there drinking and eating. I don't know. I never saw my mother doing it, so I still have the doubts. But so this was I grew up. Then many years later, I decided I was a painter, famous in Italy. I did the Venice Biennale, lots of things, museums and stuff. And I was bored, absolutely bored. I tell you the truth. Doing the Venice Biennale was the most horrible experience of my life. Really horrible. It's just about money and not about art. But this was my experience. I hate it. And it was the last time I painted a painting. I stopped soon after. And I said, I want to create something magical. And so I said, well, I want to go back to my childhood and go back to tarot. And so I started to talk with tarot about tarot to my mother and everything. And it was amazing. Then, unfortunately, when I was creating my first deck of tarot, it was the Book of Shadow, the Lost Code of Tarot. And then I did with a Kickstarter campaign and then published via Dialogue Scarabeo. My mother got sick, and 2 years later, she passed away. So she was not able to see everything I created. Unfortunately, this was my biggest regret. We saw the test, the proof of the testing. The test of the printing of the cards, but not able to use. She was paralyzed in bed. So unfortunately, it's a part of a bitter part of the story.
Yeah.
I'm happy because from that day on, I did everything in English for the first time. I wrote the book in English and everything. And that first tarot deck allowed me to escape from my country and be free from everything I hated there or I didn't like there. And so I came to the States. I got to the States, and then Australia, the States, and then I decided that I wanted to live in England, and I moved to this splendiferous country. Very mysterious, spooky. I discovered that here magic is in the ground, in the field. I will not surprise if I see a fairy one day walking on the wood. I really love this country. I hate cold and rain, as I said to you before, and where I live in Durham. So, almost, England is almost finished. There is not only... Anyway, I was
Durham. Yeah, it can be cold and wet, and it's certainly wet right now. The whole of England is wet, but that gives it a charm, doesn't it? It's kind of mistful and magical because of it. Yes, I think the fact you never know what you're going to get.
Yes. I'm a Mediterranean guy. I'm missing my son, but I will not move. I like staying there, so it's okay. So it's fun.
That's wonderful.
This is my beginning in the world of tarot.
Lovely. And would you say you're RWS or Marseille or Thoth?
My heart go to the Marseille. I started reading cards with the Marseille deck, an old deck, and for me, whenever I have to do a reading and everything, before creating this last version of the Book of Shadows, I was using mine, or I was using an ancient deck, a reproduction of an ancient deck. And I will never use a real ancient deck because it's too frail. I will never dare to ruin it. It will be no. But the Marseille, for me, are always speaking more. I love the pips. I love reading the pips in every way. It's like a forest of symbols, and I lost there. I really love it. I always thought for many years that the Rider-Waite style is to on your eye directly there. He show you what happens, and there is killing your fantasy. But then when I have to create my first tarot deck Rider-Waite, I fall in love with it, and I change my idea in my mind, and now I use both. But I put so many symbols, so many layers in the cards. I meant so many. You still recognize everything. I didn't reinterpret anything. I didn't want to change anything because otherwise it would be too complicated. I wanted a deck that is incredibly easy to read, but incredibly layered. And so if you don't go deeper, you will miss so many details. Like, I don't know how many of you have my deck, but if someone of you has my deck, I will challenge you to find, there are characters that are recurring. Like if you look at the love and you look at the judgment, you will see that the couple is the same. because I wanted to create a connection. And for me, one of the more important things is love. Love of your family, love of your friends, love of your lovers or lovers, if you're a polylover, whatever. I mean, love is important. Well, I mean, open.
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
judge, I don't care. It's important is
So,
love.
absolutely.
Absolutely. Love is important. Respect and love the other person. Love your life, love your world, love everything, what you do in your life. And so I wanted to create this connection. If you have the couple that is represented, depicted there in the love card, and then you have in the judgment, what you say is love is the only real thing that is immortal, is the only things that allow you to transcend this world, to go everywhere you want, space and time. And I like it. I mean,
that's wonderful.
I wanted to say it, and I did it.
Oh, that's really lovely. Thank you for putting that in. That's really lovely. We are going to have a look at some cards in a minute, but we've got lots of lovely people saying hello. So I need to just do that bit first. Allow you to have a little. So hello to everyone that's joined us. We've got lots of people in there, in here. Beth says England is charming. And Tony, Antoinette Taranjori says, I love your deck and book. It's just mind-blowing. Quality and cost is phenomenal compared to all the non-imaginative indie decks that are around. So there's a lot of praise coming your way today. So just
thank you so much. For me, it's important because I decided to go on Kickstarter to raise the money to fund the process, the printing process of the deck. And when I did it, everything was already created. So I took a huge gamble because I worked something like 3 years to create everything. So without being paid, of course. It's my time, is my energy, my passion, and I did it. And I wanted to share it with everyone. And what was pivotal for me, it was the quality, not just the quality, only the quality of my work, but the quality of the printing. So I went for one of the best printer in the world. Cost me a fortune, but I wanted in that way.
Yeah.
So if someone said, I love the quality, I say, thank you.
It is. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. They're wonderful cards to shuffle. They're glossy. They've got that lovely gloss, but it's not too. They are just wonderful. Lovely size. Then are they? I'm just going to check. Are they usual RWS? I've got no. I never checked the size. They're slightly thinner, aren't they?
I think there are maybe alpha millimeter.
Yeah, exactly.
The dimension is the standard.
Really nice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We're going to talk about the book. I want to just get my other camera up, though, if that's okay. Yeah. I want people to have a look at some of the artwork so that we can talk about that. So we're going to move to one side.
Because my throat, unfortunately, is still sore. So
and let's get rid of me. We don't want that there because we want to see these cards here. And I'm sure lots of people have seen this, but the deck is still available, isn't it? People can order it online.
Yeah. Absolutely. On my shop, I still do free shipment all around the world. And because I noted the cost of the deck is already high, and I said, okay, let's try to do it in this way, and it is okay.
So the book, we're going to start with the guidebook because this has just blown me away. So I'm going to be honest, as I said to you earlier, I'm not a person that reads guidebooks. I'm notorious for just getting the deck straight out and playing with it. And so it took me a little while to think, well, okay, I better pick it up. But I mean, the names you've got involved in this is just phenomenal. But then you start to actually look at the artwork that's in it and the time that's taken in it. And I'm just blown over by the amount of time, the amount of information, the amount of joy that this book gives. So I'm going to ask, what came first? Did the deck and the book kind of develop together, or were you, I'm going to do the deck and then write the book? How did it come about?
Yep, it's a very complex story. I try to make it short because otherwise I will talk for 4 hours. The idea was to create a series of tarot for an exhibition. Then, creating the tarot, I have the idea of creating the alchemist who created tarot, presenting everything as a real archaeological discovery. So I created what you see there, the Book of the Alchemist. And then let's say that the book and the cards started to come together, and it was, I created a parallel fictional world that I presented as real. But the real point of it, the trait d'union between the cards and the book and the style of the book is I think you have to ask a question. The question is, how do you read tarot? You put a series if you read not just one card, but even if you read one card, it's just the same. What you have, a sequence of images, a sequence of text, and then you have a story. The graphic novel is exactly the same. You have a sequence of images, a sequence of text, and you create a story. But this is from the technical aesthetic point of view. The philosophical point of view that unified everything is the definition of magic and my idea of magic. I was inspired by the work of Jan Petru Culianu, that was because now he's deceased. Unfortunately, he was killed. He was a Romanian philosopher in Boston, and he defined magic as a science of the imagination.
Yeah.
The pivotal point in magic is our ability of imagining things. So why not to use all the power of our imagination to explain the meaning of tarot? What I wanted to do here with this book, with this shape, that is illustrated book, graphic novel, book of magic, book of alchemy, is a lot of things.
Yeah.
I wanted to answer one single question. Why tarot are magical and what is the magic of tarot? So I give different answers given from different characters, real historians like John Matthews, that wrote the meaning of the cards. Then there is Rana George, Sasha Graham.
Yeah.
Then there is my contribution. I mean, you have like a summa of like an expose of why tarot are magical from different point of view. They're not collide necessarily. Some point is even in contradiction with others. But this is what is important for me. I didn't want to have a clause, give an answer, a definitive answer. It's an open book, because every one of you, when you read it, can find their own answer, the answer that they prefer, or start. I would like that this book is like the start, the beginning of a journey into magic. Magic is something that is complex, is complicated, is mind-blowing, is deep, is grounded, is in our life, in our nature, in our planet. Think about Gaia or Cibele. I say in Italian because the English pronunciation of Cibele, the Mother Earth, I don't know actually, so I'm sorry for that.
That's okay.
I think it's Cibele. It can be something like that, something similar. Okay, thank you. Sorry for that.
Yeah.
The idea is the book and the deck and the film, because it's a multimedia project. There is a film too, where a lot of people, famous people, talk, like Mary Greer, his interview, and talk about my deck as it was real, but say things important. Think about, I know that I say a lot of stuff and try to be coherent and cohesive, but think about Oscar Wilde. He said, give a man a mask and he will say the truth. I wanted to do the same thing with this work. I wanted to tell the truth, different truth about tarot and magic, using the expedient of fantasy, the expedient of a storytelling. And honestly, I had a lot of fun. It was a humongous work, because creating all the drawings with that kind of coloring that is very, very meticulous with the shadows and everything, it took me 3 years to create everything. But I remember, jumping from one job at another. While I was cooking, I have an idea, sketching, then go back while eating, drawing. I used to have a notebook, piece of paper in the shower, because when I have ideas, I have to write and sketch. I always have everything, because it was a constant bombardment of ideas, of feeling, of energy. I simply was in a state of ecstasy for all the writing. I really love doing the Book of Shadows.
It's fantastic. And I think that joy really comes out. As I said, there's so many layers to this book. It's, as you say, it's the alchemist story. It's the way that you...
The layers are very, very deep, because I didn't want it to... But deep because sometimes you have to know other things about my personal life, because I put there a lot of stuff, a lot. Like if you see all the logos that are invented, you see in the film, the fictional places, they are pictures sometimes of real places when I added my own art. There is a scene when you see a library and you see in the book, like a postcard with the manuscript of The Alchemist there. I remove all the frescoes of the walls and the ceiling, putting my artwork, and I have fun, because if people notice, it's good. If you don't notice, doesn't matter. I wanted to create games, and sometimes there are lots of references, like in the name of the characters. Madame Verefkin was one of my favorite painter.
Right.
The last century, Madame Verefkin was, amazing painting and a lot of color. So I said, I want to quote her. I want to celebrate her paintings and give this name of one of my favorite characters. That is my alter ego, one of my many alter ego in the book. And I had a lot of fun. The idea was to divide my rational part with my, let's say, occultist, irrational part, and make an quarreling, make a talk. And the result of this talking is the book. And I hope you enjoy it. I hope you will. You fall into this parallel world, and doing so, you will discover part of magic and things that are real. It's fun.
I love that, and it's just. Tony just said, I'm going to go back and read it again, and it's one of those books that I read through as, okay, I'm not very good at reading graphic novels, so for me it was, there's a lot of illustrations, and that was overtaking my how I was looking at it. Then I went back and started reading again, and then there's the jokes. There's some really funny stuff in here, and some very clever stuff. Some of it's quite subtle, some of it's in your face. For example, the 16th tower, isn't it? He gets locked up.
You notice, the name of the tower in the name of the arcana.
Yeah,
and I love
exactly.
it. And every chapter starts with a quote that is very important for me, but it's very important even is a journey for tarot. There is, I don't know if the right pronunciation, I will do the French because it's the one that comes better with the name, Antoinette.
Yes.
I don't know if Antoinette. She said, I see the inspiration is the Voynich manuscript. Absolutely, yes. Thank you for having noticed it. When I started to create that, I was completely taken by the Voynich manuscript because I studied philosophy at university, and logic was part of my thesis. I use a lot of logic with whatever is philosophy of language, so very technical, very logical. And having a book written in a language that still today we don't know if it's a coding of a real language or is a fictional something that can never be translated, and no one solved just this single problem, shocked me. And so I went so deeply in reading it that everything exploded. The other book that inspired me is the Codex Seraphinianus. And if you don't know it, please check it. Then I write the name somewhere. Luigi Serafini, I think he's still alive, very old maybe, for sure, is an architect in Italy. He created a book of like an encyclopedia of an ancient planet, of a lost planet in the galaxy, with a fictional language and images that makes no absolutely sense. And they are absolutely whimsical and inspiring, and is incredible because reading a book that you cannot read, just interpreting, looking at the images, is incredibly beautiful. It's a process of creation. It's an act of magic. And this is what I definitely love. And this is why I created this that you see in the book. This is the prop. It's the real prop that I created. It is the book of The Alchemist. And
I'm going to make you put it on one screen so that you can show this, if that's okay. So here we go. There we go.
So every single page is drawn by hand. Every single page tells a story, but many stories. I decided to write one of the stories that came into my mind because I wrote it just for the purpose of writing it, illustrating it wanted to tell story just with the illustration. But then I decided that some of the stories were so peculiar, so strange, that I decided to translate them. And so it came the Book of Shadows. It was a part of it. And I don't know, here you see you see the Tetractys, the magical representation of the number 10 in ancient philosophy.
Yeah.
So, there are lots of stuff going on there. I put my passion for ancient books and ancient languages and my study of philosophy in creating this parallel world, because I wanted people to have fun. You don't have to know anything about philosophy and logic. You will meandering around the world that I created there for you to enjoy. But if you got the references and everything, you will enjoy it a lot. When I start writing the first chapter, I talk about my professor at University of Philosophy of Language, and when I quote the Tractatus Logicus Philosophicus, I think he will die if he discovers the use that I did of, of that book, because I interpreted and distorted to create something completely different that was used to me for justify the magic of tarot. And I love it. I really, really love it.
I have to say, what you've just said makes perfect sense, because as I was reading this, there were times I was thinking, I'm reading something here that I perhaps don't know everything about, and it gave me the taste to go and learn a bit more and to look at stuff that I'd never even thought about with tarot, or it not necessarily turned my world upside down, but it gave me the opportunity to really question and rethink. And one of the things I absolutely, again, praise, it's your different, I've got the readings there, that's just the actual interpretation of the cards that have been drawn up and used here. It's just perfect.
Oh, yeah.
It's refreshing, and it's lovely. I know you've had people also help you with bits and pieces of it all, but it's
I have
just
a problem to go into the public chat. I cannot write in the public chat. So I just wrote the name Codex Seraphinianus in our private chat. If you can show the name publicly, so everyone can look through it. If everyone
do that. Right, okay. I need to concentrate for 1 second.
Let's see. I drink a little bit of my.
Let's just smile at people while I try and do this and not take us out the chat. Okay. Or I'm copying and pasting. I don't think I've ever done.
I hope that I'm not doing.
Right, here we go. Let's see if this works. I think it might work. Wait, there we go.
Yes, I think it's Seraphinianus with PH. I don't know if it's written in the Latin way. It should be with PH. If it's in the Italian way, with F. But anyway, it's Codex Seraphinianus. You will find it. So it is.
Thank you so much.
I don't know even which language I'm talking to. I mix every single language, and it's a mess. Believe me, it's a mess.
Right, should we have a look at some of the cards?
Yes, please.
I'm going to ask you a question, actually, that I didn't prep you for. And this is a hard question. Of course, you might not have the answer for it. Which is your favorite card that you've created? Can you have a favorite card?
Yep, I have, actually. I really have.
Have a look.
Let me find it, because I want to show it. By the way, it's the one that you see there. It's the 8 of Cups. I love, above all the cards, and I draw the 8 of Cups. When I draw it, I don't know, my mind find its place. Because I think this is the card to represent my life completely.
Wow, go on, explain a bit more. Let's have some more.
The first, when I start to draw the cards, there was, in the classical representation, there is a man on the hill, leaving the place, the city on the left. But when I was drawing it, I said, the man is not right. The man is not right. There's something wrong. There's something wrong here. We have like a fjord, this bay open to the horizon with this crescent moon and all the stars. I have to draw a ship. And as soon as I put there this galleon going away from this safe harbor into the unknown, I fell in love with this card, and I use it for everyone. For everything. I even put it there in the back of the box. It's hanging above my head. I really love it. I think it reflects my heart, my life, because I have to leave places that I've deeply loved in my life, places that I never wanted to leave. When I was a kid, I live in Buenos Aires. I was there without my parents because after World War II, part of my family migrated there. So there in Buenos Aires was living, part of my family was my grandfather and my grand-aunties. And I fell in love with one of my uncle, and I asked him to bring me to Buenos Aires. And my family thought, yes, so the grandparents are there, they're very old, so at least you can meet with them, it's important. I mean, we believe in family, in connection, exchanging of history, emotion. So I was there, but because it was during the dictatorship of Videla, it was a very, very tough period of time. It was the time of the desaparecidos and everything. My Italian family, they was not allowed to go back to Italy. So my great uncle was not able to bring me back to Italy. So I went back to my family with my brother, my parents, and everything 1 year later. When I was back to Italy, I didn't even remember the face of my parents. I can say that I remember the first time I saw my father or my mother. That is very tough. But
Yeah.
I never wanted to leave because my family was there. I was not speaking Italian anymore. I was speaking, as in Argentina say,
Right.
Castellano. So Spanish, the Spanish version that I spoke there. It's very musical, very beautiful. And so I left what for me was a safe harbor, and I see that. Then I have to leave Italy. With Italy, I have a very, I'm going to say, love-hate emotions or
Mhm.
relationship. So I decided to leave Italy, but I leave Italy in a state that was completely destroyed, because emotionally destroyed, because I left as soon as my mother had passed away. So
Mhm.
for me, it was not possible anymore to live in the same city, to
Yeah.
share the same space that I lived before, because my mother was my secretary. Well, one of my best friends, she was a sensitive like me. We have a very strange connection in history of occult happening. I mean, occult occurrences happening in our house. I mean, it's crazy. So anyway, I could not live there, and then I was not free. As a gay man, as an artist, I was not free in Italy. So I decided to go away, and so like a gypsy, a Roma of a Jews, I'm wandering all around looking for a place I can call home. And
Yeah.
so this card represents myself. I have this eternal ship, or this ship, uh, never ending, looking for a place to call home, and always migrating. And I keep migrating. After 9 years on London, I was used to call London my home. Now
Yeah.
Durham my home.
Now
So,
Durham's your home. You escaped the London
yeah,
city life and gone for
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
quieter, colder one.
I fell in love with the countryside totally. It's absolutely amazing. And for the first time, I saw the countryside and northern sea. I decided I could not live without it, and so I moved here. I saw them, and I moved in few months, just the time of closing everything in London, pack everything, and I moved here. And I didn't regret it. I really love your Yorkshire and Durham County. I never been in Scotland. It's another place that call me.
Yeah.
He's calling me,
Yeah.
and I know that I risk to move even north. So please save me, anchor me somewhere, because I cannot keep moving left and right. Or
I need
should
to
I?
start
Yes, I
calling
know.
you down south now. You can start coming down south, perhaps.
Yeah.
Well, you've done
When I
London.
go to the other side, I mean, going west you find east, and going north you will find to south. So it would be nice.
Some people are sharing their thoughts there. Marita says that her mum has escaped from Brazil after the war, and Beth says, I lived in Buenos Aires, magical, fascinating culturally
Yeah.
and artistically
I
there.
think there are lots of people that, for one reason
Yeah,
or another, is
yeah,
forced, or us to,
yeah.
leave his own country. And I think is something that change your life, because you have to learn another language, you have to learn another way of dealing with people, interacting
Mm,
with people. But it's not something that is a gain. I
mm,
love it. I love to be able to understand 3 or 4 languages. I mean, I can speak a little bit of French, a little bit of Spanish, Italian, English, and I love it, because your mind exploded, and you realize that your place is the world, and all nation and culture are just different faces of humanity, and
yeah.
you love humanity for what it is, the differences, all the differences. And so I love discovering things, and for me, it's amazing.
Oh,
I
that's
just
awesome.
discovered Yorkshire pudding, and it's amazing.
Yorkshire pudding.
Yes, pudding. So yes, I love it a lot. I discovered you can have it in different ways. So
Yeah.
hurrah,
You can have
huzzah.
it as a sweet. You can have it as a pudding. You can have it as with the meat. It's normally on a Sunday roast.
Exactly. This is the joy of life. You have to experiment. You have to discover things. So usually, when I go outside abroad for my job and everything, I don't look for Italian restaurant. I don't care. I don't want. So I go in a local place where local people goes. I say, "What do you eat here?" I don't know anything. So I order random, or I
Yeah,
ask people, "What is that? What is that?" I try and see.
that's
I
really
never
interesting. It's a good thing because often we just get into our own. I like that. So I like a lot of pasta and pizza and stuff like that. And I'm not very adventurous. But it is good to be adventurous and try different
Yes,
stuff.
in life you have to. And so I think this is the card to represent my life. Leaving always something is behind that is precious, but because if you want to grow, you have to explore the world. If you want to explore the world, you have to leave behind something. If you want to live through the line of time, you have to leave the past behind. So you cannot be attached to your past. You cannot be attached to a place. You can love it and bring everything you love always with you, of course, but you cannot stop. If you stop, you stop the exploration, and then life will lose its magic. I mean, this is for me, of course. It's my way of living. So
I don't want to lose the magic.
So this is my favorite card. Maybe it was a very long answer. Sorry.
No, I'm loving it, and people absolutely loving it too. Just going to catch up with some people. And Tony said, "Yeah, my grandparents escaped northeastern Europe in the war. Lots left behind and never allowed to return."
It's not easy. I mean, it's always.
And Maruta says, "Visit Latvia. It's a magical nature there too."
Yep. I have a friend from that country, and he told me how beautiful it is and how people are nice. And so I would like to. I discovered here in the north of England, people are very nice.
Oh, really?
I always say people are nice. Sorry. I was not used to have people greeting me on the streets, perfect strangers. You walk the dog. Hello, how are you? Oh, they are talking to me. Used to New York and London, where people is quite tough and rough. I mean, wow, I love it. This is charming.
I would say hello to the lovely Anne, who's loving the artistry in your deck. And she said, no more decks till next year, but...
Well, what for me is important in my art is whenever I have to draw a card, I try to connect with the meaning of the cards and try to put a lot of meanings in the object I draw, in the color I choose. So the palette of colors for the minor arcana is different than one from the major arcana. It's more saturated than major arcana. And then I wanted to create connection and things. If you think about the lovers, now I have to look for the major arcana.
I just got them here. I just literally had it in my head. And look at that.
Look what happened here. For this card, instead of for the minor arcana here, the reference, of course, are the Rider-Waite. But then I had a little bit of my own meanings, life and things there, object and references. For the major arcana, I prefer to connect more to the Marseille deck of Ancient deck, like the Visconti Sforza, like here. So the lovers are under a canopy instead of having Eros, Cupidos with the arrow. I have just the arrow trafixing the canopy. And then you have this man and a woman. They're completely the two different cultural and ethnic groups. One is black, the other one is white. There is a little bit of, how can I explain? I mix different style in clothing. There are elements for Renaissance Italy, reference for the Arabic Islamic world, reference to modernism, to Picasso, because I wanted to create a culture that is a melange of different cultures and is a new culture, because I wanted every people in the world can resonate with my tarot. So if you are an Asian in Asia, if you are a Western or South American, whatever, you can find something of your own culture, something of your own tone skin, of your own tongue in the deck I created. And then I made a choice, a really important choice for me, because whenever you think about love, you think about, of course, heterosexual love. And I debate a lot with myself if I wanted to have an heterosexual couple here or not. At the end, I decide yes, because then I put in the two of couples, a gay couple, and then there are a lesbian couple in another card. I think it's in the four of wands, if I remember right. But here I wanted to have a female and a male because I wanted to convey a peculiar meaning. If you see, if you pay attention, they are connected with the arm, but the arm is melted together. And this for me was important, not just touching hands, but melted, one becomes the other. Because when you love someone, you deeply love someone, there is not anymore my body, your body, me and you. There is just one entity, us. And that us is magical. And if you notice, I wanted to draw the woman pregnant, because not because it's important having a child, is a metaphor. When you love someone or something deeply, you generate something else. You love tarot, you can, if you start to to draw a tarot deck, you generate a tarot deck. If you love someone, you generate whatever you want to generate or happen to generate with that person. It's not necessarily a baby. It can be a book, it can be a travel, it can be energy, it can be changing the world with your ideas or your group of friends. I mean, little, but why not? You have to change little things to change biggest one. So, and then you see a dog there on the right, because the dog is the symbol of fidelity.
Yeah.
The best friend of man. And then you have these strange things, and I always leave a little bit the mystery. You have trees, they are very oval or strange, and maybe are flowers. And I let that showery, I mean, a shadow place, a shadow shape, so everyone can see whatever they want. And there is the idea of the canopy to protect from the sun the couple, because the sun is important, but too much sun can destroy everything. And then the man is holding a flower with a specific number of dots. I don't remember now everything. And the flower is in the shape of the symbol of the imaginary city I invented, the city of Sapientia.
Mm-hmm.
But the symbol of the city of Sapientia, that is the city where the alchemists grow, is the solution of, how can I say, a geometrical impossibility, that is the square of the circle. So you have the square, and you have different circle, and the circle is scribed in the square. So there are lots of references there, because I wanted to create this. If you notice, good. If you don't notice, doesn't care. I mean, the meaning of the cards at the end, when you see one of my cards, I would like that you find your own object, your own meanings, and you connect what I draw there with the colors and the object and everything to your own experience, your own culture, and you read tarot in a personal, deeper way. It is the reason why I created also this humongous project with the film, the book, and everything, because I wanted to formulate a question instead of giving an answer. And the question is, why tarot are important for you? Why they are magic for you? So give your answer, and use tarot in consequence of the answer that you give.
Wow, that's wonderful. Thank you. I could listen to you talk about each one of the cards, but you should record a series. It'd be amazing. I have pulled out, because you did mention them, the cards there. So there are the Four of Wands, and the Two of Cups there. So
yeah.
And again, it just shows the richness of the colors that you use in your palette is just a joy. It is just beautiful, and the patterns and everything, it just works so well.
I want to say something a little bit personal, that the reason why there is a black man and a white man in the Two of Cups is because I wanted to celebrate my own couple. I've been in a gay relationship for 15 years now. Yeah. My boyfriend is an Afro-American black guy. So a black guy. He's a dancer, he's a choreographer, he's a photographer. We live in different countries for many years now, so we see each other twice a year. It's quite tough, but we're still together. We hold on this relationship we have. So I wanted to make a joke to him and create this card with the meaning of the cards and everything, but then I wanted to put into it something very personal. And the fun part was that when he saw the cards, he looked at it and just smiled, and he said, "I know what you did here." I said, "Yes, you got it. This is my way of saying I love you." And
that's lovely. And on the Two of Cups as well, what beautiful choice.
Yeah, it's a beautiful card. I mean, every card is beautiful and every card is horrible. It depends of the position, it depends of the question, it depends of the story. That every card is connected with all other cards in a spread. I usually don't do spread, like I say, rigid spread, but I like to do directional readings. And I love directional readings because it's more messy, it's less regulated. You leave to the tarot talk, which every card talk to the other, and they create a story for you.
Yeah.
And it's very deep. It's very, very, very deep. It's very, very challenging too. But I love to do it. It requires a lot of energy. It's very stressful to read tarot in this way. I mean, for me, it's very consumed. You feel all your energy consumed at the end.
Yeah. Beth says that's so beautiful, like a love poem or a love song you write for a lover.
I think if you have a creative mind, whatever you do, if you put yourself, your soul, your love, your hate, your dislike, your likes, your wish, your dreams in what you do, there every single card is personal. In every single card, in every single page, in every single note, you find something to speak about you. And speaking about you, it becomes universal. And you speak about all the rest, because at the end of this deck, I managed to have all the spectrum of the love. So, I mean, here and there. So it's difficult to okay, it's done.
It's done. I'm going to change the subject slightly. I want to talk about the backs of the cards.
Yeah, the back of the cards is one of my favorite places in the world. This is the reference is, you see, it is a city, is a square in a city with a pool. This is the Palace of Knowledge, what is like the libraries of the multiverse. Well, all the knowledge that will ever was, is, and will be in all the time universe and multiverse is kept and protected. So I like the idea of giving to the back of the card this representation, because in every card is a door to an infinite series of world, infinite times. You can use it like the TARDIS of Doctor Who, if you like this kind of science fiction.
The blue color of the
I never
TARDIS.
thought about it, but anyway, yes. But this is important, because if you read, I mean, there is one way. I mean, I always say there is not a bad way of reading tarot, but actually there is. And the one that is really bad, and when you memorize the meaning of a card and you repeat the meaning of a card for all the reading you have, this is the first step, and it's okay. But has to be the first step. You don't have to stop there, because otherwise you kill the magic of tarot. So it's beautiful when you open a cards and every time you have a different meaning. Of course, there is the historical, the original meaning of the cards, but this is the beginning that then explode in your mind. And if you're not that to the bit of knowledge, then you explode. And my job, I think, in this book and in my life and everything is connect tarot to art, history of art, philosophy, culture, music. Because if you read tarot in this way, everything exploded. Think about, I don't know, you take a card and say, think about a music that you like, a song, a symphony that you like. Think about a poem. Think about a person that you like or dislike. The first things that come into your mind, and then write it down, and then ask yourself why. In the why, in the reason why, there is the meaning of the card. And you can go so deep in this kind of way that is, for me, is liberating. I use tarot for reading tarot. I mean, normally occult reading tarot, but I use tarot to create story for my books, for my nephews. I use my own deck to create crazy stories, to tell them story of fictional character and invented. And we were using tarot to invent stories. So I would put in a card and the story start like that. Then there is another card and you go on with the story. And see kids using tarot in this way, believe me, it was absolutely amazing. I love it.
Oh, that's wonderful. I love this story. Oh,
thank you. I mean, I love tarot. I love using. I love art.
I can tell, and you know what? You're knowledgeable, but I love the fact that you have lots of stories about it, and you can draw on other things, and just make us all think.
You know, everything I do in my heart, in my life, has a reason why. And there's always a connection and inspiration. That can be a book, it can be a person, things that happen in my life, it can be a friend, a sentence, a quote. And I constantly reading, watching film. My mind is like a sponge, everything traveling and exploring things. And I like that. And then after I absorb everything, I elaborate everything and everything go back to in one form or another.
Wow. I'm going to now turn this card over because I want to talk about this one.
Yes.
This card is my favorite ever version of this Major Arcana card. It makes me very happy. And I like it because, firstly, I would wear a hat like that. I'm going to be honest. I love the absolute vivaciousness, almost like Liberace in his outfit, or Elton John. And what makes me happy about this magician is he isn't obviously the traditional. He's a showman. He's somebody who can probably pull the wool over your eyes, or can be trying to perhaps make you not see that he's a bit like an illusionist rather than I'm drawing everything down. He's a bit of a trickster. I wouldn't trust him, to be honest, 100%, this magician. And I love that as a fresh take on this card rather than being the very serious Pamela Coleman Smith kind of lightning conductor.
Is a tricky card because in the meaning of the card you have the two aspects. The aspect of the wise man, so the alchemist, the magician like the magus, but then you have the trickster. And I wanted to represent both of them. Think about, when I was creating this card, I have in my mind a lot John Dee and Kelly.
Yeah.
One is the magus, the other is the trickster. I put in there, historically, yes, it was quite edgy, Kelly. Not nice as a person, not nice.
Yeah.
But I like create a magician that is peculiar, is even, you can say, foggy as a card because you don't know who he is. Is a trickster or is the magus? Or is both?
Yes.
Because at the end, inside every alchemist, maybe there is a trickster. There is someone that wants to push the limits of the boundaries too much and is not allowed to do it. So think about Faust and Mephistopheles of Goethe.
And of course, sorry, jumping in there, and of course, as the magician is the first character the fool meets on the fool's journey, this is suggesting that perhaps the fool has to be very careful of illusions that he's going to meet along the way, because what he may encounter and what they may encounter might not actually be completely real or honest or true, and he's going to have to use his intuition a lot stronger to be able to, as he goes through this whole story, to work with. And I think that's a very interesting character for the fool to meet as the first person, rather than the high priestess or the earthiness of all of the fact is the magician's there and they're going, just be on the lookout, just be a bit careful before you go.
I never thought about it, but I like that because it's like a caveat, and pay attention to the dog. Pay attention because from here on in the journey, you find the reality and the illusion. But for me, when you think about reality and illusion, I'm a Buddhist, so I always think in a slightly different way that we are used here as Christian or is in the Western world, because reality is an illusion.
Yeah.
If you think about the veil of Maya, the Maya's veil, the reality is always there. And when I study philosophy, when we study about the reality, the conception of reality, the big question about the cosmos, of the meaning of life and everything, the explanation of incredibly complex paradox in logic.
Mm-hmm.
Think about a table. You can touch it, you can move it, you can eat, and you can have a description of a table. But an architect will describe the table in a different way. And then if you ask a chemist, he will tell you the composition and the molecular. If you have a spectrometer or if you have a special microscope, you can see the atoms and you can see the void. And you see that the major space of the table is occupied by void, by nothing. So what is the table? Every time you approach the table in a different way, you have a different description of the table. But everything description of our reality give and shape in another way the same reality. So what is real? What is illusion? And I don't say that anything doesn't matter because it's not real. I'm saying that there is always an aspect of reality that is beyond our grasping and is beyond our comprehension. Think about a flower. We see a flower and it's beautiful. But a bee that can see the infrared, we see the same flower with complete different eyes. And this is amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And
so interesting.
What is reality? Reality is a complex object. We see just a partial face of it. So it's an illusion.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. Sorry, the cat jumped up halfway. He wanted to be in part of the action.
No, I love it. It was a nice moment. I love it.
It's a nice moment. He's gone now. He's going to go and do something else now. Maruta says, I like it when they break the borders too. So talking about the design of your cards there, the images into
And I like that too. You've got very white, clean borders, but the picture just comes out or goes over them, and it's.
But this is a reason why I didn't want to do in every card, so I select a few cards for doing it. But the idea of breaking the borders is like inviting people to break the border of their own mind in reading tarot, or break the borders of tarot. Because the drawing a tarot, I want to go out of paper. For me, was something more magical. It's like the character that I draw there want to come to our reality.
Yeah.
Jump out of the paper and say, I'm alive too. And in a certain way, they are alive too. But it's interesting that you love the Magician. I would like to ask you why. Why do you love so much the Magician? Because in all the cards is the one that I'm not as fond of.
Really, I just liked him. He very much reminds. I don't know whether it's Marseille or something else that's logged in my head, but I just automatically. I'm going to not say warmed to the character, but I saw myself for the first time. I saw myself in the card of the Magician, which I don't normally do in any of the other versions, particularly the RWS version. I see the Magician as somebody that's a bit aloof, standing behind their table, being a bit, being very much in themselves in the moment. Whereas this one is a bit more of a trickster, a bit more. Yeah, come in. It's a bit more of a wide boy, like I can show you this. I can do this. I've also got this under the table. If you need this, I can just pull this out as well. It's very much, and I like that. And I think that's a very refreshing on a card that I find often have a little bit of trouble with. So I like it.
Yeah. Every time I look at the Magician on whatever deck, my first question is, what the heck he's doing there? He has this table with object, and you just add one random. What are you doing there with a table with the symbol of the four suits? Yeah. Why? I mean, you can do so many more interesting things. Why you are showing us the four seats of the suit? I mean, yes, it's interesting, but
it's the same.
It is. I don't know. It's like saying, "I will tell you everything." I mean, like you will know everything you need to know when you have done all the journey of the Fool with you, all the major arcana, all the minor arcana. Then you will be back to me, and you will have the answer. And maybe this is why a trickster, because he knows, but he doesn't tell anything.
Maruta's paid a big compliment to me. I was just thinking he resembles me. So there you go. I like that. I'll take that. Maruta's been very careful, kind, and put your YouTube.
Oh yes.
So please like and subscribe. Go and like and subscribe. Subscribe to me if you haven't done so yet. It's free. We love a subscriber, don't we? So, but thank you for that one there.
Yes, I like the elements, Maruta. Yes, they are the elements to build your life with. Yes, absolutely. Yes, like the four ingredients with which one you can create everything, and it's interesting. Everything apart from major arcana. But because they are apart. But it's interesting. It's another half of the journey, because every time you think about the journey, the full journey, you think about the major arcana, and everyone ends the full journey with the judgment or the world. Sorry, but I said, and minor arcana, they are not just there for fun. I mean, this is part of the journey too. I mean,
I'm going to talk about some of the court cards we haven't talked about. There's so many we haven't talked about yet. But I'm going to put this on the full screen because I want to lay all of them out together, if that's okay. So bear with me, and let's try and get these in an order, because all your court cards have a different feel to them. They often call on different cultures. What made you decide to perhaps pick some of the culture? I'm going to pull them all out so we can have a look. These are the one suit there.
Yeah.
I love, they don't quite join up, but I love the fact that the backgrounds are very much the same on these ones here. Hopefully the camera is picking up the idea of it, and that there is such a wonderful, not simpleness, but they are very conjoined, as in they all belong to this family. You can tell that they are a family and that they are all interrelated and very similar, but also have very different aspects. So what's your thoughts on the court cards? Because often a lot of people do have trouble when you're starting out tarot learning them.
I have to decide to create the deck. I wanted, all the deck is set as a background, minor and major arcana, in the fantasy world I created.
Yeah.
Because if you move from the real world to the fantasy world with the idea that I already said, I mean, multicultural, multi-ethnic, and everyone can resonate with the deck. Then I decided to connect every single deck, suit, with a situation inside my world. So you have the ones, there is a desert world with oasis, and you see in the background the walls and the towers of Sapientia. Then here we have the Caps. The Caps is the more watery world. And so you have this fjord, this bay, and it's almost the same landscape, but seen from a little perspective. It's the same landscape, but seen from a little bit different perspective. So here the queen is a mermaid, while the king is a man, and the knight is a woman, and the page is a naga, so half human, half serpent. So different culture, different theories, different tradition, different legends, and two are outside a building and two are inside a building, but is open to the water. So I wanted to create a deep connection between all the 4 cards belonging to the same suit. So as soon as you see it, you know they belong to a peculiar card. Then there is different times. Here you have all the dawn of the sun, of the setting of the dawn of the sun. While the other one is midday. The sun is bright and it's very scorching and it is very deserty. And I love the desert. It's one of the things that I love more. I love water and I love the desert, the two opposite. I have so many deserts and I really, really love them. And then you have coins. Coins is the one that is closer to Sapientia, because it is built in this kind of oasis in a bay open to the sea. And here there are always 3. The oasis is the shadowy place, nice place, watery if you like, because there is always water, but it's luxurious, it's abundant. And so there is always this aspect of the garden. So the coin sometimes, as you see, is used as a coin. So on the pentacle is a coin, sometimes is used as a shield, sometimes is a symbol, sometimes is on the scepter of the king. And every time, sometimes the flowers or fruits on the tree, every time I place in a different way. But here you see it is, Sapientia is very, very close, and it's less deserty, the ground, and the sky is less flat, it's less scorching, it's more serene, more bearable if you want.
But there's still that wonderful earthiness of the coin's pentacle element, isn't there? That earthy thing, it really comes through with the nature of what's going on as well. So, which one haven't I looked at yet? Swords. We haven't looked at swords yet.
The swords is missing. The icy one.
Hopefully you're seeing this at home. I'm trying to get them all lined up in the backward world of YouTube cameras. So there
is the time of the night. So we have the mountains and we have the night, because the sword for me is always there are many different meanings in the sword, but if you think of the sword as a suit, you have the elements of the fight, but you have the element of the rationality. And so I wanted to have like a more Northern European reference. So you see something like, it can be like a Viking, but they are not Vikings, but you see something like that, very, very, very fierce people, very protected, with these big swords, and it's very dynamic too. And there is the important thing is the night, and the night has different hours because the moon is different position. And then there is this element that breaks the rigidity of the coldness, the little butterfly that you see in almost all the 3 cards, because exactly, the night has not the butterfly, but the night is the one that is charging, so it's moving away from the others. So
that's wonderful. I love the moon cycle going through this. Well, I say moon cycle. It's moving through the night because the moon is actually
the moon is always the same. But if I remember right, if I see there's always if you notice, all my characters are always one eye and only one eye. I never draw characters with 2 eyes usually, and usually the eye is closed. The moon is not looking at us. It's like his eyes is closed. And there's a reason why I do it. I'm doing from the beginning of my journey as a painter. Every time I do a portrait, I have to create the the drawing of someone, I just draw one eye. And the answer is because the eyes are the door of the soul. If you have an eyes only, or if you have the eyes that are closed, you cannot enter in the soul of this person. You cannot grasp the secret nature of the person in front of you. And for me, it's really important because he's speaking by a metaphor. It says, don't judge the book by the cover. Whenever you see a person, you have to remember that you have to dig behind the skin, behind the clothes, behind these words, the gesture, to know the real person, to peel up the mask that society forces us to wear, and know the real person behind, the real soul, the essence of the person. So if you draw just one eye, it's just like I say, well, wait, you don't know me because I hiding something for you, because it's my nature. It's the deepest nature. It's like the secret name. In many cultures, or in the magician tradition, the magic tradition, you have a public name and then you have a secret name. The secret name is yours. So no one can use it to curse you or use you. And I think it's amazing. In many cultures, the real name, or even today, you have a secret name, the name that you don't use.
Yeah. Thank you so much. This is fascinating. I'm absolutely loving this, and I know people watching are as well. Whilst I've got the camera set up here, I'm going to show the aces because you told us about something that's rather exciting that I didn't realize. So if you do have this deck, I would suggest getting the aces out and lining them up. So I'm going to see if I can do this justice, because when you do that, you get this wonderful panorama. Can we call it panoramic?
Yeah.
Kind of.
I call it the Song of the Aces.
Let me just move the cards out the way, and I can probably do this.
You have a little bit of reflection, but yeah.
I'm just going to try and see the camera, unfortunately, because it's there.
Perfect.
There we go.
What I created is a unique landscape, the Song of the Aces. The idea is that every single suit is connected to the other in the deck. Every single suit is important. So I have an ocean originated by the cup, the city in the cup, the city of sapienza, the city of knowledge. And here there is the reference of the Holy Grail, the reference of the cup of life that can heal every ailment. Yeah. And I mean, is interesting as a symbology. And then on the left, we have the swords on the rock. So another symbology is the swords that you have to grasp and free and use it. There is another metaphor for our rationality. We live in a period of time where people are not that much rational. We are living. I see the world like divided in two fighting opposite. Or you believe A, or you don't believe A. Or if you are for me, you are against me. Think about the Palestinian and the Iranian, Israeli fight. Think about the American politics. Think about everything now is me against me. Black on white, and no one is sitting with the other, try to talk and try to solve the problem. Because again, the two opposition have always elements of wrong and elements of right. But you have to talk, you have to dialogue, you have to be united if you want to create a cohesive society, a better society. Fighting against each other, it doesn't help anyone. It's just detrimental for society, for us, for everyone. We live in a society that is just fighting, constant fighting, and is consuming. So this is the sort that you have to unseal, that you have to take it, grasp in your hand and use it. There is rationality is really important. And again, rationality doesn't mean that, or logic, it doesn't mean that the science doesn't mean that you have to kill the occult. I'm here. I consider myself a scientist, a very rational person, but I have my occult side. I want to believe in ghosts and believe in the spirituality and in things that I cannot demonstrate. But it's important. I'm not solved, and I don't want to be solved. Inside me, there are different sides fighting, and it's right it is like that, because I don't have the truth in my hands. I think it was Popper that created a very beautiful poetic sentence and says, I have to remember, because unfortunately when I was studying philosophy, many books were in Italian, so I memorized in Italian, but the original was in English, so now I have to translate from Italian in English. It will be completely different probably from the original one, but sorry for that. He said the truth is not like a well-forged coin, close, well protected in his casket. And this means you cannot grasp truth like an object. You can have and say, I possess the truth, and it's like that forever. Truth is something that is moving. It's moving with us. It's changing, reshaping, getting deeper, losing bits, because we are growing, because our understanding of the world change, and so our understanding of the truth change. And so it's important to keep reminding ourselves that whatever we believe in now. It's not sizzling stone. We always have to be open to change our mind. I always, whenever I quarrel with a person, debate, because it's more correct, debate with a person, I always start saying, this is my ideas. If you don't like them, or if you think they are wrong, demonstrate me they are wrong, and I will follow you. But if you use not reason, but just, I don't know, whatever is that you use to demonstrate, to show me that I'm wrong, I keep my ideas. Show me that I'm wrong, and I will drop my ideas for new one that are more correct or more fit for the situation. It is alchemy, if you want. It is a scientific method and everything. But anyway.
People are agreeing with you that they're going, science is magic, and absolutely magic is science, and it creates
Exactly. Think about chemistry. Chemistry comes from alchemy. Think about philosophy. Philosophy is the mother of so many science that is incredible. And the big question is important. We are losing the art of analyzing reality, the analytic side of our mind. And the one that is incredibly more important for me is the inner child. And this is the reason why I created, one of the many reasons why I created the book of Shadow in Shape. I want us to live again when we were a child. Remember when the room was animated by spirits and objects. Remember what everything was speaking to you. Remember what everything was a marvel, what everything was fantastic. We're losing that aspect of life. When we were kids, we were absolutely creative. Why we are losing the creativity? Why now I meet people say, I don't know how to draw. I don't know either how to draw, but I'm drawing. Who knows how to draw? What does it mean knowing how to draw? This is not the way I draw. It is the only way I can. I mean, why? We are losing so much of ourselves growing up that is like dying every single year more and more and more. At the end, we are dead before even being physically dead. And this is what I'm fighting for, bringing up magic, fantasy, the childhood. And I think this is the important of tarot reading. I love challenging people that are absolutely rational. Imagine Jung. I always quote Jung. Carl Gustav Jung was using tarot to, I don't want to, let's say experiment, play around with the idea of archetypes.
Yeah.
And he was a psychologist. A psychologist is a scientist, if you want. Not technically speaking, but in some way is a science too.
I'm putting this up here. The measure. This called spontaneity. Yeah,
but I think it's society more than measure. But yes, because I mean, when we grow up we are being told what is right, what is wrong, what we have to do, and what we cannot do. And then we spend the rest of our life trying to forget everything and find our own way to this life. And sometimes it's tough. Sometimes it's very difficult.
We often forget that childhood, for me, imagination. That creation of when you're growing up, that you could have created anything. Everything was conjured up. And then as adults, we get so much put on us and told what to think and what to do. We often forget that, don't we? And it's so nice to have the opportunity, as with your cards particularly, to go back to that space, to try and reconnect with that space from our inner child, to go, it's okay to dream. And it says in your book about that, isn't it? It's talking about tarot and how you open up different worlds. You're absolutely right with that.
I want to tell a story. It is something that is maybe every time is mine, because it's a personal story. Unfortunately, the person I'm talking about died recently, passed away of cancer, very young too. So it's a sad story. The ending is sad, but it was an amazing person, an amazing friend of mine. It reminds me that the inner child, the curiosity in us, is always there, whatever job you do. He's a sort of a mechanic. He was a sort of a mechanic, and he has this place where he was repairing car. I don't know how to say it in English anymore. I'm sorry. But
mechanic.
Sorry?
a mechanic?
Yes, it was the place where the mechanic repairing car is working. So I'm sorry, I have to use a metaphor to describe it.
Okay.
And we were sitting around the table talking about Sartre, his philosophy books, his play, because he has a university degree in literature. And he always said, people think I'm an idiot or I'm not cultured because I'm here repairing cars. I'm here repairing cars because this is what I love to do.
Yeah.
This is what makes me joy. But then I have my passion. I love theater. I love culture. I read hundreds of books. I can debate with the most illuminated mind. And he was right. And I always love this kind of living. Whatever you do, you can do it because you love it. If you don't love it, well, I would suggest try to change it. Because we can do. One of my father figure of my high adulthood is Englishman, and I adore Quentin Crisp. Quentin Crisp was absolutely flamboyant, a writer, a thinker. He's absolutely camp, and this is the reason why I love it. He never made no, because I mean, imagine he was in the
completely camping over the top.
Yeah, over the top, camp over the top. But he paid the price for his freedom because he was beaten up. It was a very horrible life story. But he said, ask yourself, what do you will now? I quote by memory, so sorry, it's not exact.
Yeah, that's fine.
But go and look for the real quote because it's written in a so beautiful way. He said, imagine if you were alone in this universe. Imagine if you're the only person your opinion really matters. What will you do? Well, you have to answer this question if you really want to be happy in this life, because it's useless to be a farm and attend your pigs, you said pigs, all your life, and then at point your die says, but I wanted to be a ballet dancer. Why you didn't? Why you didn't try it? This is the point. At least try, because we have just one life at a time. If you don't try, you are losing your opportunity. And when you're dead, it's lost forever. It's a pity. I always try to say to people, they say, oh, I don't like my job. Try to do something new every day. Try to test something new every day, to taste something new every day, to experiment, to watch a movie that you will never watch, to listen to a music. You don't love jazz. Experiment with jazz. We will discover something of jazz that you like. If you don't live like that, you will die without having tasted the taste of life fully. And this is what I try to do. And anyway, it's my way of living, but that's really the biggest. Yes, I love it. I love it. I love it. Yes, you can do that. You can do it.
Tony says, I can't produce pointillism like Picasso, therefore I'm not good enough. These realism they're definitely kill creativity in people.
No, there is another story that I love. I don't remember. There was two very famous people involved. Unfortunately, I don't remember who was. I think it was an actor or a musician or whatever. We don't do something to be the best or to learn a living with what we are doing. We are doing what we're doing because we love it. I'm an artist now, not because I wanted to be an artist, but just because I love what I'm doing, and I was not able to stop what I'm doing, and I did everything is necessary to transform my job in my passion in my job. And believe me, when I started, I was completely broken. Because it's incredibly difficult. I have to do a lot of sacrifices in life. I have time. I spend time in Italy. This is one of the reasons I left, when I have the money to pay the rent and not to buy the food. And I never stopped to follow my dreams. I never compromise. It is the reason why today I'm in England living nicely as an artist. The point is, you do what you do because you love it. I mean, I would like to start play the violin. I don't have time, but if I have time, I know that I will never be an incredible violinist, but I will do it because I will love it, and I don't care, because in the process of learning it, the process of doing it, I love tap dance. I really love tap dance. I discovered that I'm incredibly awkward and horrible tap dancer. I have no coordination, but God, I did it. For 1 year, I was there tap dancing with everyone looking at me badly. You don't follow the rhythm. You do the strong steps. I said, mind your own business. I'm in my zone. I cannot change the way I tap dance. But God, if I was happy. I tried. Yeah. And then I move on. I did something else. I mean, I'm not a star, unfortunately, but it's okay.
Yeah.
It's that famous quote, and I can't remember who said it, but it's better to have tried and failed than not have tried at all.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Do something. We have learned, unfortunately, we have to be the best in everything you do. Why? We are here not to be the best. We are here to enjoy our life, to
Exactly.
discover it, to be better person. I want to be a better person, not a perfect artist. I mean, I'm not perfect as an artist. There are things that I'm not able to draw as I want. But who cares? I do my version of it, and I enjoy it. It's
That's
frustrating,
amazing.
yes, but I enjoy
You've
it.
got to enjoy it. There
I
we
think
go.
this is the lesson that tarot taught me. I mean, I changed a lot doing tarot, drawing tarot, study tarot, reading tarot, because you discover a lot of other things. You discover people, because when you read tarot for other people, you discover other dreams, other fears. And there is nothing better to know what you love and what you fear to know a person. And you see humanity behind the mask, because at the end, everything of us have to eat, go to the bathroom, and die. I mean, sorry, but this is the reality of our life.
That's
Yeah.
true. Very true.
Why to pretend and match? Why to put the mask of the important, I don't know, artist, of the important banker? I never consider myself better or worse for what I'm doing of another person. I'm a person, you are another person, and that's all. Let's be friends and be, as Rumi says, be a mirror to each other, to be a better person. And this is all it matters.
I'm just going to leave this up because Anne's just said a wonderful, giving us a wonderful thought here. She caught my baby grandson today giggling and laughing whilst he was playing with my dog in the garden. The interaction with no words spoken was beautiful to see. The magic of childhood. That's what we were saying there.
Yes, exactly. Imagine, but we can be child every time we want. Every time we are spontaneous, we are child again. Whatever you do, if it's cooking, playing cards, play a computer game, killing a tune with a violin or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
You are in the zone. Whenever you are in the zone, you're a child. You are behind the barrier of this world.
We need to be more childish, more childlike. That's the thing, isn't it?
I'm reading right now the book that I don't remember the name of course, because it's always like that. It's a book that a dear friend of mine brought me from Thailand, and is a Buddhist monk that wrote it, and it was describing about the nirvana, with the idea of this kind of, it's not a paradise, but a state of mind that is almost like transcendent, impossible to reach. I said, well, nirvana, we can achieve it. You achieve it every time he's in the zone. Every time you are in the zone, every time you are losing the sense of time because you enjoy what you're doing and you're living in the moment, because this is important. You are not burdened by the weight of the past, of the future, but you are just there in the moment. That is the right way of living. Of course, it's difficult because we have worries and everything, but we can learn how to cope with everything and enjoy the moment. And maybe I'm enjoying to be here and now, and I want to be challenged with difficult questions, and please challenge me. I want to debate with you, because this is I'm here to grow, to learn something new, and I already did it. I have a lot of interesting questions and interesting point of view on tarot, on our reality, and it is important.
Vanessa said, I love your passionate nature. I can feel it through the screen as you speak.
I really love what I'm doing. I really, really love it.
We can tell you're so
I cannot stop when people say, but you work 24/7. I say, yes, because it's like playing. I cannot stop. I mean, no, I'm not joking. I go to bed and I start reading, and then I have an idea, I write, and the next day, when I'm dreaming something that is pertinent to my vision, job, ideas, and then go back, and it's good.
So I'm going to ask, what's the next project? What are you working on next?
The next project is almost finished. Is one of my dreams. I finally managed to write in English as I wanted, because when I talk, I do a lot of mistakes. But when I write, I have the time to correct myself, so it's better. So I wrote a book about mythological beast in a very quirky English, with a lot of alliterations and internal rhymes. Very, very quirky, very funny. With, again, fiction to say real facts about fictional, mythological creature for all around the world. and I'm looking forward to public it and to record myself reading it, because I have a very clear idea, because I want to mix my voice with animations and everything. So I'm creating here in my studio right now. I'm collecting and creating props and objects, because I want to create like a Wunderkammer, so a cabinet of curiosity. So it will be very cool. And I will sit in there in a Queen Anne chair that I want to buy. I'm looking for one that is used, because I want something that is used as a story, like all my books. And I work in tarot world. I teach tarot. I do tarot reading. I create tarot deck, and the next deck, it can be another interesting one. But next year I start working on
That's
this.
next year.
Yeah.
Are you going to any more conferences? Because you go to a lot of the tarot conferences around the country.
For now, there is nothing in my spectrum, but I would like to go abroad, and I would like to start to reconnect with the Australian friends, the Australian tarot community that is really, really lovely, and the American one that I lost a little bit here and there in my travel, of course. And then, as you know, I love to do animation and theater. I work a lot screening my animation in theater shows. I would like to go back there. But now that I moved here to the north of England, my first goal, it would be to connect here with people and know all the artists here, the crazy mind, people that are absolutely interesting and quirky, eccentric. That is my favorite aspect of Britishness, the eccentricity, and it's the English virtue. I love it. And see what happens and create other things, enlarge my life. So go out of the ivory tower, because I always here working and meeting more people and see.
I'm going to have to wrap this up, but I just want to leave you with a few of the quotes that people are saying about you and the live today, because Vanessa said, "I've watched smiling the entire time and actually sat still."
Well, thank you.
And I think that's wonderful. The actual thing about sitting still and doing something, not feeling guilty that you're not doing 3 jobs all at once, is again really important. And so thank you for bringing this to people. And Tony says, "Can you imagine what Andrea's Wonder Cabinet would hold?"
Yes, I imagine very well. Oh my gosh.
That's a whole new live, that one. That's going to have to be another one, I think, what looking inside what the cabinet is. And Anne says, "I think we all need a big dose of Andrea Aste, positivity and enthusiasm for life. Wish we could bottle it." Isn't that a lovely, lovely thought there? And yeah, your enthusiasm is infectious and has got everybody talking. So thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Transfer the joy for tarot, the joy for life, and using tarot to change your life in better and see the magic in little things. That is the most beautiful thing that you can ever do during your day.
Calla says hello Calla, I didn't say hello to you earlier. "These are gorgeous cards. Thank you for being here and talking about them with us. It's just beautiful." There are links below if people haven't got the deck, and as you say, you post out locally to the UK, something like that. So pop it on your Christmas list. I would really love you to come back so we can talk a bit more about some of the cards, because there is so much to talk about. So
whenever you want, I would love it.
And you'd love to come back, I would love to carry on.
You have to challenge me. I want difficult question. I want to quarrel. I want to debate. I really love it. I mean, see other things. A nice dialogue is always
well, then we can start that. We're going to get people putting their thoughts and comments in, and we'll have a massive challenge. You could have a challenge Andrea moment, couldn't we? We could here we go. Set the questions up. What do you want to ask him, and put it in that way there. Vanessa says, "He was so kind to me on Kickstarter, communicated. Thank you for having him on. It's been a pleasure, and thank you for coming here." So
thanks Vanessa. What happened on the Kickstarter campaign was absolutely magical, because I was there with 2 purposes. The first, of course, was to find the money to be able to print the deck, otherwise it would be just a dream in my mind. And the other ones to communicate with the community and share. And so one of the backers was the supervillain in my graphic novel. Other people, because they didn't like the idea of having something like that, like I think you call it tuck box, something like that?
Yeah, tuck box, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Sometimes I'm not a source of pronunciation. So I know how to write it, but not to say it. And I didn't have the money to create something different because it would be too expensive. So I listened all the comments and everything, and it came out with this one. If I didn't have the dialogue, the deep dialogue with the Beckers, I never invented the Keeper of the Gates of Magic. That is the box that you can use to keep your things. So I love the dialogue because with the dialogue, I created more stuff. I changed parts of the deck of the graphic novel to, this is interesting. I don't want it to happen, but these other things. So it's a community I'm still in contact to.
That's
I really,
nice.
really love it because at the end, what is more important for me as an artist is to communicate. When I was using to have a lot of exhibition, this was my income, just exhibition. This very stuff. I used to go to my exhibition, and people usually don't recognize the artists and everything. I was putting behind people, commenting, talking aloud of my paintings to see what they really know about them.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved it. And I'm still that kind of sneaky guy that like to know what people think about what I'm doing. And so it's intriguing. Thank you, Vanessa.
I like this as well. As long as the tuck box opens without ripping and fits the cards with it, it's all good. Absolutely.
Well, the difficulty of this one is opening without breaking the lids. I discovered that if you use another card or something, you can open it very easily. But the first time I tried to open it, I break the box, and I said, "No, I broke the box. No, I don't want to break it."
We've all been there. We've all done it.
Yeah.
And Vanessa said she bought protective sleeves for the cards as well.
Oh, wow. Wow. You can always do something like I do. I already have two versions of my deck. The one is still closed and pristine. I never use it. And then the one that I used, because always the one that was scratched, the book and everything, because I use it for filming, the photography and the reading cards. Yeah. And then there is the pristine, and it's there, still is perfectly closed, like a relic, an ancient relic. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Thank you so much for being with us today. It's been an absolute joy. Everybody has said how much your enthusiasm and love for it has really come through. So I really appreciate it. I'm going to say goodbye to everyone now and wish them all a wonderful weekend and hopefully see you very soon. But bye-bye for now. And thank you once again for joining us.
Thank you for everyone. And thank you to you for this amazing talk. I really enjoyed it. And have a splendid first night and weekend.
Bye-bye.